Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, the second batch of Unreal episodes. I guess this is Unreal Season 2.
Yeah.
5 episodes long are out, and that's what we're going to talk about today because it's what I've noticed on the social medias. A lot of people are talking about it. We're going to dive into our takeaways from all 5 episodes, but I wanted to open up this conversation, this podcast, with a simple question. To you, Larson, across all 5 episodes of Season 2, what was your main takeaway?
Gosh, where to start?
Your biggest, the number one thing that comes to mind after binging these 5 episodes.
All right. This is how I'll frame it. Because
are you gonna try to be diplomatic here?
Not at all.
Okay.
So overall, you're gonna be diplomatic?
I'm gonna have to be because I don't want to be mean.
Oh, all right. I was watching this, and for some reason, I was making the comparison between the first 2 Star Wars prequels.
Wow.
Here's a tangent.
This is not where I thought you would go.
So the first season of Unreal, I wasn't expecting a complete, unvarnished, unabridged, uncensored look behind the curtain per se. But I guess just the novelty of them going so far as to produce a whole 5-episode series about the inner workings of WWE. It's like, oh, all right, that's cool. The novelty's there. And like The Phantom Menace, the novelty of a new Star Wars movie, I felt like to a certain degree I got wrapped up in it enough that maybe some of the flaws of it were kind of excused on first viewing because I was just kind of like into the novelty of it.
Okay, all right.
But going into Attack of the Clones after further consideration of Phantom Menace, I realized these prequels are garbage. Apologies to people who grew up on the prequels. I know that's Star Wars for them.
It's a generational thing. Yeah.
It is. So going into Season 2, I didn't have... The novelty had kind of worn off.
Sure.
And there were several instances where WWE could have addressed certain things.
Yeah.
Like one of the overarching narratives or stories going through Season 2 is Seth cashing in at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was surprised by this as well, yeah.
At no point did they really address that it had been spoiled like a week after the fake injury angle?
That's crazy to me. That's like the entire premise or the entire bulk of whatever episode 4, I guess. Yeah, 4.
Was about that. And they had more than an hour to do more than just like casually allude to the idea that it had. I think there was like, people are going to have criticism or something like that, was the extent of the acknowledgement that there is any talk outside of what a brilliant creative idea Triple H had. And that's kind of my overarching thing about all these episodes. And I knew this in Season 1 after watching it, but it really seemed crystal clear here. WWE really loves to control the narrative, not just in terms of what we see on our TVs in front of cameras, in terms of the scripted show, but also in terms of what we see here in Unreal.
You know what's funny is that control that you talk about. I love that that's your takeaway because mine is kind of different, but I'm gonna dovetail yours into mine.
Sure.
There, just like we saw in Season 1, controlling the narrative also means deciding who you're going to throw under the bus. And we saw that with Jey Uso, Season 1.
And it's LA Knight this season.
Okay, so it's LA Knight, but no, it's Road Dogg.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about, my main takeaway is, if you're friends with Triple H, you're going to be eating good. And why the fuck? It's so funny because Jelly Roll had a really great line when he was talking about his match at SummerSlam. He said, the story is the guy that's unqualified to be here. That's my story.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Triple H and he said, heels up.
I love how quickly he understands like the basic storytelling mechanics of pro wrestling and the jargon associated with those discussions.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because it wasn't like, I think the heels should go over. It's heels up.
Heels up. Yeah, right. And so, but getting back to Road Dogg, they made this guy look like a fucking idiot. And then I'm thinking to myself, This is why we had to sit through all those shitty SmackDowns, because he's not qualified to be in. He's not qualified to be sitting in creative. According to this, Truth wants to shave his head. Why does he want to do that? I don't know. I'm getting angry now. What? Larson, I'm not a writer. Well, I mean, I've written some stuff, but I'm not a wrestling writer. In the moment, with the comfortability that I would have with like my best friend running things, I would think, I'd be like, dude, listen, it's a new R-Truth. He wants to show that the silliness is over with, and the symbol of that's A. B, Cena would be shot. They did it literally with Undertaker, where he did the whole head reveal.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different reasons, even if they are superficial, that I could come up with on the spot as to why a shaving of the head is something that, hey, we can throw this out there.
Maybe this is not that I'm looking to defend Road Dogg, but maybe this is a situation because when Road Dogg mentioned this, Triple H is on Zoom. And even
he's got Triple his background blurred too. It's so bad.
Triple H's response was like, I could smell this fart that you just laid, Road Dogg, through Zoom. He was like, what? Why would he want to do that?
Yeah.
He was like almost angry at the prospect of that happening.
It's as if they were like 2 hours deep into the meeting and Road Dogg kept laying turds and this was just the final straw. And Road Dogg was like, hold on a second, I'm getting angry here. Oh, God. He just completely collapses. And this is after he's been introduced as a guy who's got like 4 different roles in the company.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he as effective in these other roles as he is here? Because that could explain a lot.
But that I will say this, that aspect of Road Dogg was tempered to a degree because, you could tell he has a very deep friendship with Truth.
Yeah, but dude,
and that aspect, like separate from the professional aspect where he can't explain like the basic rationale for when to do things.
Dude, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just in terms of like, I didn't know they were that close.
Neither did I.
And so hearing Road Dogg talk about, except for the one really corporate answer he gave, R-Truth, the negotiating tactic, evidently, of telling him, hey, we're not going to renew your contract because WWE was not willing to seemingly come close to the number that R-Truth was seemingly asking for, considering he just had a match with John Cena in Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
And then getting upset that, things happened as they did, and then Triple H having the temerity to go to Truth and be like, oh, this could be the kickoff for something really cool for you.
Yeah.
And then they've done nothing. Anyways, with them since. But anyways, it was nice to hear Road Dogg tell about their friendship and what his friendship with R-Truth meant to him.
That being said,
that's separate from how he comports himself as a professional. Yes.
No. But here's the thing. That makes my point, I think, even more sound. If they've decided that your age, Larson, is not worth the reward. But before that, I'm advocating for you. Larson wants to shave his head. Let's say you've got the mullet, right?
Sure, I got a mullet, yeah.
The Corbin mullet. Larson wants to shave his head. Why would he want to do that? Are you kidding me? I've known this guy for 20 years. You think I'm not going to be batting for him with the most amount of passion, even if it's total bullshit, which you get a lot of probably in a writer's room, people just pulling shit out of their ass. I will be going to bat for whatever idea you want, prepared with any number of reasons that I can pull out of my ass because I believe in you. You're my dude. I want to make sure that you're not going to get aged out of this place.
Really, all Road Dogg had to say was when Triple H asked, why does he want to do that?
Oh, you didn't know?
Exactly.
I wonder how many. He's probably expended all of those particular bullets,
I don't
man.
see how like you could run out of that currency per se, though. You know what I mean? Anytime if someone asks you a question, you're not sure what the answer is, you need to buy some time.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know?
But I feel for the guy because he seems like a sweetheart, right? Because he's like, I'm not fond of my time in the ring because I was inebriated on drugs and all this stuff, and I got out of this, and that's honestly good for him. That's such a heartwarming story. Doesn't mean he needs 5 jobs in the company.
No, not at all.
Doesn't mean he needs to be running SmackDown. When you look at this guy again, as presented on the show, but between him and To a degree, LA Knight, and we can talk about that, but I thought there was one interesting thing about how Triple H approached veteran wrestlers about the storytelling process. But for me, it was in the early episodes anyways, it was Road Dogg just completely collapsing under the smallest amount of pressure to be like, hey, it's Wednesday, and Triple H already irate. It's Wednesday. We got to get to Saturday. How are we going to do that? All right, well, how many hours of television do we have? How much can we devote to our truth? What can we do with that? Like, be a problem-solving guy, not...
Instead of folding, yeah. And there's another instance where he's presented with some pushback and idea, and he just folds. He literally just turns his chair around.
He literally turned his chair around.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just move on. Turns his chair around.
Yeah.
Stares at the whiteboard there.
Yeah, but... Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about the controlling of the narrative thing. I mean, I don't know. You know, you and I are kind of in a bit of a bubble, so I don't necessarily remember if the general conversation around John Cena's face turn was as belligerent as our conversation was.
No, I don't know. But, you know, like whenever WWE puts out something like this, some sort of documentary, like one of the first questions I always ask myself, and I think is important to pose on the show, is who is this for?
Sure.
You know, who obviously wrestling fans, I think, by and large, are going to be interested in any sort of peek behind the curtain they can get. But specifically in terms of who Unreal is for, it's not us. I don't necessarily think exclusively. I think it's for people who watch... Exclusively, no. Well, I think it's for people who watch wrestling, but don't necessarily are as in tune with the wrestling news like we are, which is probably makes the vast majority of the wrestling fans.
Yeah, it's I think, you know, dude, and for some reason, I don't know if it's a glitch on my Netflix, but every time I turn on, I activate Netflix, I'm pushed the McMahon documentary, even though I've seen the entire thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it always on the top of the splash page?
It's like I immediately get like pushed a window, and it's like that. I'm like, okay, I got to click the X to get to the actual like homepage. But it's a constant reminder of there's an audience out there who doesn't watch it week to week that is still, because look, for 3 decades now, for as long as you and I have been friends, and for as long as you and I have been watching wrestling together, which goes back to the beginning of our friendship, the most interesting thing about pro wrestling is the behind the scenes stuff. And I feel like there's a large enough audience who might not watch, the people that tune into WrestleMania that don't tune in the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's those people. It's the people that tune into the McMahon documentary because that kind of shit is interesting. And so, yeah, I think it's wrestling fans. It is you and I, but it's the WrestleMania crowd. I mean, I think that's what they're probably going after. And there's even people who don't watch WrestleMania who remember wrestling and are like, I don't really keep up with the stories, but this stuff is interesting, and maybe it would prompt them to start tuning in weekly.
Maybe
and then after 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, they drop out because it's too much.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I did think that there was plenty to chew on in this. But you're right about the whole narrative situation, because there were multiple times throughout this, and the obviously the most egregious absolutely was as soon as the Seth Rollins thing post wrestling, I think it was, we're getting hints that this is fakey fake.
Yeah, it was post, and it was Meltzer.
Yeah. And which led me to think, like, man, at least within the narrative that they were presenting. And again, you know, I've seen comments across our stuff, the WrestleJuice stuff, whatever, people saying, oh, I can't believe anybody would believe any of this is real. And it's like, all right, well, clearly we don't know exactly what's manufactured and what is, but I think it's at least a decent facsimile of process. And I'm sure a lot of the moments at Gorilla backstage, they're not acting that shit out.
No, we saw how they acted when they were trying to act like Seth was really hurt. They're not that good at acting.
Yeah. Yeah, Rude saying, oh, Seth, okay? What's going on here? What's going on over here?
Yeah. No, I audibly laughed when they were like, we gotta like play this like as if it's real. And the first thing they do is just like really make it clear they're acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the Seth thing. We discussed that. I think also the Cena face turn they just kind of brushed it aside as basically a scheduling issue. And
how did they not know Cody was going to go shoot a movie for 6 weeks? That's crazy to me.
When was that announced?
I don't know, but the fact that they were like, all right, now how are we going to do the Cena thing? Like, at the end of the match, Cena realizes, it sounds like the original pitch, at least Triple H framing it, Cena was going to sort of learn, oh, I got respect for Cody. Now I'm okay passing the torch. All is well. I'm a good guy again. Then he makes the save on Cody as his babyface turn. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, shit. Our top guy suddenly has a big budget movie, or at least a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
That is going to get him out for 6 weeks. So we just have to do the thing with Cena on the SmackDown before.
Yeah.
Which makes sense given how lame it was, that it was a necessity, not a choice, not something that they decided to do.
Yeah.
Not a preference, I should say.
It looks to be, gosh, I'm trying to find when the announcement was made that Cody was but like he would have, I assume would have known in advance before it was announced that he was going to be in the movie. But I'm trying, like early September is the earliest I could find regarding Cody and Street Fighter. But yeah, it was September 5th. So I guess SummerSlam was early August. So
okay, so this is
so July 1st. There's a report from Wrestling Headlines that
July.
Cody was set to play Guile. So they had a month to figure something out.
Yeah,
at least.
Right. So it wasn't like
the day before SmackDown SummerSlam or SummerSlam SmackDown. Oh, I'm going to shoot this movie now.
Yeah.
And the way Cody put it, he was like, they just cast me because I'm Cody Rhodes. It wasn't like he had to go audition. That's how
right. Yeah. So. But the way they framed it was there's these discussions about story and what can we do. Oh, hey, we just found out Cody's got to shoot a movie next week.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Cody justifies the lame face turn. It should be, a decision made between wrestler and the audience. Not the actions of a wrestler. It just should be like a contract between wrestler and audience.
Well, it should be a pronouncement, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. With a beer.
I am babyface.
I declare babyface.
I declare myself the new babyface in town.
We'll talk about LA Knight and him being season 2's Jey Uso in just a moment. But first, we do have a sponsor for the show, Larson, so we're going to talk about them first.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Factor. I try my best to eat well, but a lot of times it takes a lot of time to prepare a quality meal. Just the other night, it took me almost 90 minutes. And this ain't anything fancy, just to make some chicken and some roasted sweet potatoes.
Ah, man, I feel that. I tried for a while to make healthy meals every night, but then realized it just wasn't going to happen because some days I just don't have the time or energy to make it happen.
Well, Steve, Factor doesn't ask you to do meal prep or follow recipes because their meals are already made by chefs, designed by dietitians, and delivered directly to your door. I'm talking lean proteins, vegetables, whole food ingredients, healthy fats. It's all the stuff I'd like to make if I had the time. And with Factor, I can heat it for 2 minutes and eat.
And with Factor, you pick what fits your goals. There are 100 rotating meals every week, so if you're looking for high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, GLP-1 support, ready-to-eat salads, Factor has you covered.
And Factor has a new Muscle Pro collection for strength and recovery, which is great for me because Larson, looking to get jacked in 2026. Oh, yeah. So head to factormeals.com/raw50off and use code RAW50OFF to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor.
All right. Let's go ahead and just sort of take this episode by episode.
Sure.
The first one focused on Becky and Seth. Becky's big return at WrestleMania. They addressed the whole Bayley situation being kicked out of WrestleMania a couple episodes later.
Yeah, they spent like 45 seconds on it, though.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
a
did
minute.
not. Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, that was another thing that was interesting. They didn't really dive too much more into.
No, not a whole lot of great detail. No.
Probably like the centerpiece of this though was Pat McAfee and Gunther. Triple H talking about, I vaguely remember Pat McAfee as a small podcaster and then moving on to ESPN. And then it's funny because I noticed this on social media. People are they show what looks to be a brainstorming session where they're plotting out all the different possibilities here.
Yeah.
And so I noticed this dude on social media, they're like blasting Bruce Pritchard for pitching Pat McAfee winning over Gunther.
Floated the idea of what would it be like if that were to happen, what would they could do afterwards.
Well, he was saying, everybody thinks Gunther should win this, will win this, would win this. That seems predictable. So what else is out there? And then Triple H says, okay, well, if we're going there, is it McAfee gets a quick win, like a surprise win, and then Gunther's on a rampage. And then one of the writers in the room, Jonathan Beckstrom, is like, that doesn't make any sense. Because then Pat McAfee's at commentary 10 feet away the entire rest of the time. This doesn't make a lick of sense.
No. And he's like, Gunther just said after Mania, he's refocused.
Right.
The first thing he does is take an L.
To our color commentator.
Yeah.
And he says it to our color commentator.
Yeah.
So we get to see, Pat's like training stuff and then it is kind of funny though, because like I noticed this a couple times throughout the series. Triple H seems to really love Walter.
I know. It's just funny hearing him for the first time say, "Hey, Walter."
I know. Hey, Walter, come here. And then you just see, it's funny because you get to see Triple H get up for certain people. And then for other people, it's just sort of old hat. With Seth, it's like probably a second language, or it's a shorthand, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I noticed in when this match was finished. It felt like Triple H, maybe because it's a challenge to successfully execute a match with like a celebrity or a guy like McAfee who isn't a wrestler. He's a very, he's had like a small handful of matches. And so you see when Triple H is talking to him afterwards, he's very animated and he's very into it. I know he's trying to also please McAfee. The guy's, a big deal. He gets a lot of publicity for the company, at least through Triple H's eyes anyways. But walking somebody through that, as opposed to a couple of veterans who it's like, this is old hat for them. That might be where he gets a lot of, his creativity satisfied now is like, hey, can I do this with somebody who can't do it or who doesn't usually do it?
Well,
which
we
I
saw
thought
that later
was
on
interesting.
with Jelly Roll, too.
We saw that same thing with Jelly Roll, exactly.
Where he said after, a couple training sessions, he saw the tape of it and was like, oh, I think we could really do something with it. So there could be something said for that. One other thing that was interesting about episode 1 is when Becky was talking about making her return at Mania, she signed a new deal ahead of her return and that she's kind of preparing this, or at least insinuated for this to be her last contract. And in the process of this, last run, work to get over talent so the future of the company is in good hands. And her feud with Lyra the aim was to make that happen.
Yeah. I think they go through the whole heel turn in this first episode, and I think they go through their first match as well.
That
which
Backlash.
if I'm not, the Backlash match, which if I'm not mistaken, we really liked.
All their matches were good except the SummerSlam one.
Right.
And
but
even that one, like there was some good creative stuff, but in was it episode 5, they go through why that match kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
At points.
But that Backlash one was like match of the show, I think.
Yeah. And then they had another one after that, and the Evolution match was awesome.
Yeah, the Evolution one was fantastic. Yeah. And they actually did. Everybody was like really effusive about that one. But that first one I thought was a banger match.
It was really good.
She just said it was a so-so match. She was like, I wasn't really into it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
really
crazy.
Good.
It's always wild to me when wrestlers who have like main evented Mania, they've been like the most popular person on the roster. Like, do you think they really don't understand that, like, absence makes the heart grow fonder? I guess there's always that insecurity, because that's how what Becky framed it as, like, are they going to like me anymore? And I've heard that so many times from different wrestlers, and it's like, when you're gone for a long time, they pop for you even more. That's like a tried and true thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
So, thought that was interesting.
Who knows? Who knows? You know, if you're out of that, you know, for a while, you know, especially at a period of time where there's a lot of new people coming into the company, you know, and there's been a lot of stars who have risen while you're gone. Maybe the thought is, well, there's a lot of people here now who are wildly popular, you know, more so than when I was here last.
I guess it'd be weird if they walked into it like, they're going to love me.
Maybe, yeah. A certain amount of humility is necessary, yeah.
You're like guarding yourself against, you know, rejection. So you're like,
Could be.
But it's like, come on, keep it real. You're Becky Lynch. Get out of here.
I know. People are going to blow the roof off the building.
She's so goddamn charming in this entire
You got that
thing.
right.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Like how she showed up, you know, granted, you know, this was many years ago, but how she showed up at NXT and they didn't say, oh, you got it then, you know, because that was one of the points they made is she said, you know, when it was her and Bayley and Charlotte and Sasha and NXT, she was the one always being viewed as the one who didn't have it. And you sit and you listen to her talk for 15 seconds. You're like, no, you have it.
Yeah.
A bunch of it, you know? Like she is just overflowing with charisma. And
she really is.
She's got such a magnetic presence on camera just answering basic questions.
Yeah. I think with her was always a matter. But yeah, you're right. That's what they said. If it was just a matter, I mean, clearly it was, of like figuring it out.
And it could be in having the confidence as a performer to you know, consistently channel it, you know.
Like you look at Charlotte, she kind of writes itself, you know, so to speak. Sasha, kind of the same. Bayley, they had that gimmick for her in the first place. So it's like, they're just to look at the horsewomen, their gimmicks kind of like brought it out, I think. I think with Becky, it was like, you know, they bust her out with, number one, I don't know why they did the whole Irish thing in the first one. What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
That's always crazy to me.
I know.
But, you know, she went through like the steampunk thing, and it was like, oh, the people really like her, but it's not there. And then they try to turn her heel against Charlotte. It's like, oh, crap. They're just, they all see it, and they want you to see it. And so now we've got it. So, yeah.
We can move on to episode 2, The Truth. That's what it was called. And this is all about, or predominantly about, the R-Truth saga.
Yeah,
so,
I don't have any other notes on this episode besides
they
the
talked.
Truth stuff.
There was a bit about Naomi, and where Naomi talked a little bit about.
Oh, it is, shift to Naomi, and then I did a paragraph break.
The day her and Sasha, and they actually mentioned Sasha. Walked out.
Koski didn't. Koski would not say the names McMahon, Laurinaitis, or Sasha Banks. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, but I guess we'll talk about R-Truth since chronologically in the episode that's what happened here first. It kicks off with a bunch of performers putting R-Truth over as like the absolute best. Yeah. And then you segue to Road Dogg talking about his relationship with R-Truth, going down to Memphis to do some work there, seeing Truth wrestle and telling them, hey, you're great. I'm bringing you up to WWE. And within 2 months that happened, they were tag partners.
Well, he loved that he was rapping in the ring.
And so, you know, from there, their friendship developed. They go into the Cena Truth feud over the summer, and that's when they have the discussion about R-Truth cutting his hair, and Triple H just aghast at the mere prospect of that happening. Yeah. So then Truth talks about getting word that his contract wasn't going to be renewed. He interpreted that as he was being released, tweeted out that was happening. Our Road Dogg talks about getting a text from Truth about being let go. He tweeted about it. And Rhea says there was a wave of sadness that took over everyone backstage. And Cody says there's some things in pro wrestling that are just a no. Letting R-Truth go is a no. You don't do it. Yeah. So then Triple H talks about, from the corporate perspective, what they were doing. So he says Truth's contract was coming up. They were far apart on numbers. Communications broke down, and when that happens, it can be interpreted by different parties different ways. And he says, if you're not going to come to us, we're going to let your contract lapse hoping to force R-Truth's hand into coming back to the negotiating table and trying to strike a deal probably on WWE's terms.
Yeah.
And then they segue from that to Naomi.
Yeah.
Talking about when she walked out. She said she didn't go into a whole lot of detail. In fact, she prefaced by saying, I'm not going to go to a whole lot of detail. She said there was a lot happening that day with Laurinaitis and Vince, and that led to her and Sasha walking out. Well, Ed Koskey says that they were booked in a six-pack challenge, Naomi and Sasha. They were tag champions at the time. They were booked in a six-pack challenge and determined number one contender for the women's title. And they were adamant that they should not be opponents because they were tag champions. Now, I'm sure there's a lot more that probably went into it than just that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the one little bit of detail we got regarding Naomi and Sasha walking out.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what the real deal was. We always sort of caught the idea that they wanted more for the women's tag division. But then you throw McMahon and Laurinaitis in there, and who fucking knows what wild shit was said by those guys. So yeah. You have also at that, you've got Triple H cluing certain people. It's always interesting, like cluing people into like Truth's return, who has to know about that stuff. That's the funny thing about the Seth thing is that you think, okay, 6 people, I think they said, knew about Seth's thing. But then I'm like,
why do you tell Cody? Cody wasn't
so Cody could leak it. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, it got out. All right. There's like 6 to 8 people who know about it.
Triple H said it's because Cody's the guy there. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm also thinking, well, they have like literally camera people everywhere documenting all this stuff. So it ain't
true.
6 people. It's this guy. It's this guy.
I know,
it's like, and I don't know, because dude, they've got people all over the place.
Yeah.
Privy to this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it ain't just 6 people.
No,
it's your Unreal production crew too.
know.
So I don't know if they have a dedicated Unreal staff or if I don't know. They probably have at least. Yeah, I don't know. They have. I mean, they obviously have at least a couple producers.
Yeah.
For
maybe it's Peyton Manning there. He's one of the producers listed on this show. He's back there with the camera.
He could be the guy that leaked it.
Could be.
Post wrestling. I love post wrestling.
Oh, Meltzer. A lot of respect for Meltzer.
Yeah, I love that guy.
So Naomi talks about wanting to reinvent her character upon her return, leading to her heel turn, winning Money in the Bank. And then back to R-Truth. Triple H says Truth's previous contract hadn't come to an end, which we had heard.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to run till November or something like that. It was a few months. But they came to terms on a new one right before Money in the Bank. And apparently, Truth had a conversation with Nick Khan to patch things up. And then it was towards the end of episode 2 where Triple H tells Truth, we might have locked into the best thing ever for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was funny, like, it was this episode or the one after, where Truth says to Triple H, can I cut my hair now?
Well, it was this one, the very end.
Yeah.
The very end, he was like, the thing is, I was going bald.
Yeah, I know, that was a good punchline.
Which is a great punchline.
It really
exactly.
Was. And the Triple H like, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. He was talking so much shit in the writer's room. Yeah, go ahead and do it. It's great. So, yeah, and then they started to do the Truth thing, and they just completely dropped it. I'm curious what the writer's room situation was there.
Yeah, well, yeah. So episode 3 is entitled The Vision. Guess what? It's about the Vision, starting at WrestleMania 41. So there's kind of 3 stories in this one. There's, the birth of the Vision leading up to Money in the Bank. There's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Talking about what a great year she's had. Her and Matt Cardona building the dream house in Florida.
Yeah.
And, she talks about what a great year 2025 was. But then also the disappointment and dealing with the disappointment of having her U.S. title run come to, in her mind, a fairly abrupt end. And like how she put it was, and it seemed like she was having an awful day to begin with that day when it happened. Because she was sick. She'd been sick for weeks.
Yeah.
Busted her nose. Maybe it was a rematch where she got her nose busted.
No, it was the yeah, it was the rematch.
It was a rematch. So probably the same day she was sick that she busted her nose in. Anyways, but she says, at the end of the day, she says wrestling is fake. It's like my job is to go out there and get a response from the audience.
Yeah, what was your take on? Because I understand, and I totally understand how they say, she's not in the role of a Tiffany Stratton or a Jade Cargill or
Michael
any
Hayes
of
said.
them. Michael Hayes and Pritchard also. I mean, they seem to love Chelsea Green, and when they were talking about why they're taking the title off her or whether to put it back on her for the rematch, Triple H is like, all right, well, let's look at who we have. She's done something with everybody.
That's what it was. Road Dogg. He was saying Road Dogg. Well, who's she going to feud with if she wins it back? And he just goes, everybody else she already beat.
Yeah, right.
Everybody she already beat. And that seems to be the end of that discussion.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, part of me thinks that Chelsea could totally roll with in the main event.
Absolutely. That's when they had Michael Hayes in there saying that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, PS?
I just wonder if they don't want if they like that version of Chelsea Green in terms of what she does as a bad guy, and they want to move away from that for their bad guys as main event like world title people. I don't know. I mean, that
just means that Chelsea is going to be the same character then, and if they see her in the role of, oh, you feud with Chelsea before you begin your ascent up to the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Because, she's the cowardly heel. You get past the cowardly heel. All right, so you're just saying Chelsea has to play the same character for the duration of her WWE career? Her character can't evolve?
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, I think that's one point that Pritchard made is that it's not that she can't evolve. It's that she is so versatile. You can slot her in any number of situations. I think she obviously could be. She should. I mean, I thought she should have won Money in the Bank that one year.
Yeah.
But they gave it to Tiffany Stratton. I guarantee Charlotte and Chelsea would have had a much different match at WrestleMania for that matter.
But the build would have been a lot better probably.
Oh, I'm saying that the match would have been better. And I think the build would have been better too. Yeah. So no, I thought that was it. But it does sort of illustrate what they think about to a degree when it comes to roles and role players. And, Chelsea's, it's like, hey, yeah, you want the belt. You want to, because you want to do stuff with it. You want to be featured. It guarantees you a spot to a degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that she understands, well, just smile and say, all right, let's do it. And then, and then look, she's like a featured player in NXT and on SmackDown,
and
like both of them, and in AAA. You can't be mad at that stuff. I mean, that is really the best kind of person that you want on your roster,
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think in the same episode, they were talking about how, you get in this business and, most people, when they get into the wrestling business, have aspirations to be world champ, and that's part of the job of creative is to catapult people that next level. But then to also say, well, we want this person in this role specifically. I don't know. Anyways, back to the Vision. Oh, there's some good stuff with Penta in this too.
Yeah,
talking about his journey to WWE.
His wrestling school for little children. I was laughing, man. They showed that thing. I was like, that kid's like 7 years old, but doing like the crispest wrestling moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, 5-year veteran already.
Doing the leapfrogs and the drop downs and all that shit.
Hip tosses and stuff. Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was. So then we're back to the Vision. They talk about why Braun and Bronson were brought in to join the Vision. And then we get an extended bit. Whenever Chris Park, Abyss, TNA's Abyss shows up in this is when I get happy.
I will be honest with you. What a redemption story for Abyss.
You got that right, because the last season, he was shitting bricks that he was going to be in trouble because his match went long.
Yeah.
He thought it was on him.
Yeah.
One constant, though, is apparently Bruce Pritchard cannot stand this guy. There's a shot early on where they're prepping for the match, and Chris Park is talking to Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard doesn't even look at him. No eye contact. Later on, Chris Park's talking to Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard doesn't turn his head to look at Chris Park.
Yeah. I wonder, because he also comes off as like needing that validation. But look at where it gets him. He produced the fucking main event of Money in the Bank. And what happened when that match didn't go the right way? He was shitting bricks. Triple H was like, dude, it's not your fault. You can't you can't go out there and do it for them.
Yeah.
Triple H loves this guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that is so funny about it, because Pritchard seems to not want to be around him, but Triple H loves him.
Seemingly. So what happened is they laid out a finish where Seth and LA Knight were supposed to both climb the ladder, square off for a bit.
Okay, so the funny thing about this, because you're literally on the part, is Abyss comes up to Triple H.
Yes.
And he describes, he's like, hey, we're thinking about this. Dude, I had fucking so much anxiety, because then Triple H, he eats it up, and then he's like, oh man, how about this? You do this, you did this, and then they're both up there, then they do the thing, bang, like this. And Park is like, and I'm like, I would never remember any of this.
Yeah, I know.
I would never remember a fucking note of what he said.
You could have an incredible memory to be a pro wrestler or producer or any of this stuff.
Right. Triple H is going on and on, and then he do this, and he do this, and like the whole movie is playing out in front of Triple H, but Park is like, yeah, great, sure, yeah. And then Triple H walks off, he's like,
Yeah. So what's supposed to play out is Seth and LA Knight go to the top of the ladder, square off. LA Knight Seth gets knocked off. So the idea is that, LA Knight's about to grab that briefcase. Seth gets him off the ladder, kick, stomp. Seth scales the ladder to get the win. None of that happened. So the original ladder they were supposed to use for the finish, the fireball ladder, we saw this during the match, broke. Mm-hmm. So they had to back it. They put that in the ring. But then rather than do the showdown at the top of the ladder, LA Knight just hits Seth with like a clothesline or something. There's a clunky bit where he's going for a BFT, and Seth has to like push him off, kick him, hit the stomp, and then scale the ladder to get the win.
Well, so they set it up like LA Knight's on the floor, and they're like, oh, LA Knight's supposed to get up there and pull off Seth, and he takes forever.
Yeah.
And this is honestly probably when Unreal is the most compelling. It's when shit goes wrong in the ring and we get to be in Gorilla.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what is this? What's going on right now? I have no idea. They're supposed to get up there. That is the most, because it is so fucking tense.
It is. This and like the Lyra Becky match at SummerSlam.
Oh my God. That had me so anxious.
I know. So you got Chris Park backstage, super anxious, apologizing. There was like, it's not your fault.
Yeah. Triple H was good. That's why I think Triple H legitimately likes the guy. He was so trying to make him feel better about that whole thing.
Yeah. And so eventually there's a shot of Triple H talking to LA Knight. LA Knight's kind of kneeling next to him. And
he's sitting. He's like leaning against the wall.
Oh, he's sitting on the floor. Yeah. He's on the floor, though. He's not in a chair.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's on the floor. Yeah.
And so Triple H, it's like, that moment was laid out for you to come off as like a huge star.
Yeah.
So the fans would get invested in your story. You were this close to getting that briefcase and were denied.
Yeah.
And LA Knight, there's that shot, and later on, everybody's coming in post-match, and the look on LA Knight's face is like, I fucked up.
Well, yeah, they know they biffed it. And Seth was pissed off at himself as well. But I think they were looking at LA Knight like, dude, you should have, you biffed it. And but even the way Triple H was talking to LA Knight, and it was similar to when he was talking to, I think it was in an earlier episode, Becky Lynch when she attacked Lyra after Lyra beat her at Backlash. Mm-hmm. And she didn't let the moment breathe enough, in their opinion. And honestly, that is kind of one of my bigger takeaways. That's a pleasant one, is Triple H specifically, but a bunch of the wrestlers, or a lot of the wrestlers also, they have such a specific idea for timing and what it does to the crowd. And that kind of stuff is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And so when he was telling Becky, I mean, she's main event in Mania. Mm-hmm. She's, obviously up there,
Yeah.
And still he's like, no, you got to let that moment breathe. And blah,
coaching.
blah, blah.
He's
coaching. Yeah. Even at the highest level.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I understand his point of view. I understand hers as well. Oh, I got caught with a surprise roll up. First impulse is to take out my anger. I understand that perspective too,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't know. I look at the LA Knight thing, and again, and you've seen this on social media, It's the wildest thing on social media. That clip is being painted as LA Knight is learning that he's losing, that Seth is winning Money in the Bank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that weird? They're like, listen
strange.
to Triple H explain to LA Knight that he's losing. And it's like, no, this is
That's not
after
what
the
it is.
match.
Yeah.
It's just engagement bait. It's horrible. Like,
Oh,
that's why
gosh.
it's fucking useless, half the social media pages
Yeah,
anyways.
so I'm not really on it anymore.
But yeah, no, and it's like LA Knight knows. He knows. This, to me, this is much less egregious than Triple H is constantly telling Jey Uso that he's gassed all the time.
Yeah.
Because just, you know what, and Seth really does lay out, these matches are hard because, number one, they're super dangerous, but you have 6 dudes in there and you all have to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm. And timing has to be precise a lot of times. Yep.
Yeah.
He says, I hate Money in the Bank ladder matches. As
But
a
then you have
participant,
Penta.
I hate them.
I love the violence.
Oh, yeah, he was all about it.
He was all about
it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to episode 4, performance art. And this starts off with Triple H pitching the idea of the fake injury angle with Seth so he can cash in. Huge surprise at SummerSlam.
It's a big surprise. And then, of course, and then they ask Paul Heyman, they're like, hey, talk about the idea of a work. And then you get a shot of Kevin Nash doing the fake leg thing.
Someone does watch the show. How many times are we saying that when Seth comes back, you got to do that?
Yes.
If he had done that, it would have saved that cash in for me.
Yep, I'm telling you.
So then, along with all that, with the Seth fake injury, we get Jelly Roll and his path to not only wrestling a SummerSlam match, but using an appearance at SummerSlam, I think he said in 2024, as motivation to begin his journey to lose weight.
Yeah.
And, he really wanted to. He pitched the idea of doing the match, and he was determined to get under 300 pounds so he could do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, mentioned earlier, for some reason, Triple H tells Cody about the fake injury angle.
If I'm Jelly Roll, I'm telling everybody that Triple H said I was a sloppier version of Dusty.
Yeah.
What a compliment that is. It's like a sloppier version of Dusty.
But going back to the Cody thing, what's funny is that he tells Cody, he finds the time to tell Cody, but afterwards, it was when R-Truth came back. He's like, oh, I got to tell Jay and Logan that Truth is coming back.
He doesn't tell the
and then Logan comes out and gives Truth a huge hug backstage, and Triple H's like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to do it, I just couldn't find the time. I meant to tell you when you were right here in Gorilla before you went out, and I just didn't do it. Oops. It's like, but you're telling Cody about an angle that doesn't involve him in the least.
Because he's the top guy.
I guess so.
Cody's got to know. Cody, it's funny because Cody didn't even give a shit. He was like, oh, yeah, great.
He's
cool.
like, all right, that sounds awesome. Great, yeah.
He's like, why are you telling me this stuff?
And then, everybody backstage trying to really sell the idea that Seth's injury is real.
LA Knight did do a really good job with it. And
he did a great job.
And Triple H praised the hell out of that.
Yeah, because he did a great job. Everybody else backstage, oh my gosh, do we need a doctor?
Yeah, I know.
Get a doctor out there.
We might need a doctor because it looks like he might be
He looks like he could be really hurt.
This definitely does not look like a work situation, everybody.
EO got featured quite a bit in this episode.
Hold on a second.
What?
Before we get to EO, I do like that Seth had pushback on telling LA Knight.
Yeah.
And Triple H was like, dude, if this reverse was true and I didn't tell you, you'd be so fucking mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I like Triple H to the truck, to the production people. He used the term, there's going to be some kayfabe fuckery here.
Yeah.
So don't ring the bell. There's going to be some kayfabe fuckery.
Yeah.
What a great term.
So EO, these last 2 episodes got plenty of spotlight. Triple H a couple times puts her over huge, pretty much saying that if I had to build a roster over from scratch, he says, give me EO and I'm good.
And I'm good. Yeah, if I had a decimated roster, as long as I have EO, I'm good.
Yeah, calls her a rock star.
Yeah.
So this episode followed the build-up to Evolution, Naomi's cash-in, as well as the Becky, Lyra, Bayley triple threat. This reminder of Evolution was such an awesome show.
Oh my God, it was so good.
So good.
I love earlier too. So they had early in one of the earlier episodes. It was the episode 2. is when she won Money in the Bank, and you literally see the moment where she says, "Hey, H, can I put some tape on this?" And she's and he said, "Go to the prop guy, have him make you a custom."
Yeah.
Just like that. Isn't that great?
That's great. So this episode ends with Naomi's cash in, and then the tease in the finale for the season.
They showed the reactions backstage to that with all like the locker room and all that, and that I love seeing that kind of shit too. You know,
I do too,
because you could tell everybody loves her. She's been there forever. That was a nice moment.
It was. It was great. At one point, we see on the whiteboard in creative the perspective card for SummerSlam. This is what it, at one point, is going to be. It was going to be Punk and Gunther, which happened. Mm-hmm. Roman versus Braun instead of the tag match that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy versus Seth. I assume this was before the injury. This would be before the injury angle.
Mm-hmm.
Io versus Naomi. Rhea versus Asuka. Jey Uso versus Rusev. Demon Balor versus Dom.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Bailey versus Becky, and then the Bella Twins returning to face off against Liv and Raquel.
Wow. That Balor shit with Dom is happening. That shit's happening. That's funny. Yeah, that's good. I thought there was one other thing. Well, anyways. So yeah, we got more Triple H loving Walter. There is, I like that. It's funny because like Gunther was like, "Oh, you know, I thought for a second, no, this is real, but no, it's a shoot."
Oh,
but then
like,
no,
I figured it out.
I'm like, so he watches, you know, he pays attention to post wrestling and Meltzer, I guess.
So. Oh, I figured it out on my own. Is what he says.
Yeah, I loved you like Cody's Han Solo yoga mat.
Yeah,
the Carbonite one.
Yeah,
that shit
funny.
was fucking hilarious.
That's pretty funny. So episode 5 opens up. That's called The Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Opens up with Becky talking about the anxiety of having to maintain the lie that Seth is hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to Seth's family, their friends, her family, her manager. And then Seth, this is in one of the clips where Seth is talking about, he told his daughter, I got a fake injury. In a few weeks, I'll reveal it's a fake injury, but you can't say anything. So apparently she went to summer camp, told the teacher at summer camp.
Told Miss Joy.
Immediately, that's how it's framed, and then teased Seth about it.
Yeah. Sounds like something Bama would do. He brought Miss Joy he clued her in though.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're in the inner circle now."
Yeah. So then we see the bit where Jelly Roll is pitching Triple H on the heels going over SummerSlam. Heels up. Triple H has conversation with Gunther and CM Punk about Seth's cash-in. There's so many times that there's these little conversations happening that are supposed to be like privileged conversations that only the small group of people are supposed to know.
Yeah.
There's people everywhere ringside, though.
Yeah.
Is it just one of these? It doesn't necessarily seem like they're talking, like in super hushed tones.
Yeah, I think there's just sort of a trust, man,
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, at that point, there's probably a bit of a delineation between. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just used to it. It probably goes back ages and ages, and I think there's certain things that they go overboard trying to protect the info, and it still gets out like the Seth thing.
Yeah.
Because they talked endlessly about like we got to keep this hush hush, keep it hush hush, and like that night I think is when post wrestling.
Yeah, it was pretty soon after.
Yeah.
So we see Seth cash in, then we move on to Cody doing yoga on his Carbonite Han Solo yoga mat. Talks about the Mania match against John Cena, says, like the idea of it was fine. So the finish was fine. The execution was below what they could do, is what he said.
And below what we should be giving our audience, I think.
Yeah. So then
also
Michael Hayes says that Cena wanted to make up for the Mania match for Cody. He said he felt that he owed Cody that. So there's a creative meeting where the pictures are being made for Cena's face, where we talked about this a little bit, and they just kind of said, well, post SummerSlam, we'll do a thing where Cena makes the save for Cody and face Cena. And then they mentioned that he's going to be gone. Cody is shooting Street Fighter for 6 weeks post SummerSlam. And so they made it seem like that was a last-minute notice type deal. Cena had to turn face the SmackDown before SummerSlam.
Yeah. I mean, they have their reason. I get that they're in a bind, but I still think it was really lame. But I guess, from Cody's standpoint anyways, I guess it's just like, let's just get through it. And,
that's what he and Cena said on Cody's podcast. Sometimes you just find out what hand you're dealt and you just make the best of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like the match was really good.
The match was awesome.
But imagine if he had the through line of Cena's face turn happening during the match.
Yeah.
That would have just added so much more emotional heft to it.
Yeah, I agree.
So then we see a bunch about Lyra's match against Becky, and she talks about the challenges of coming up with original ideas, considering they have a no DQ stipulation. Same day as we get, I think, Cena. Maybe it was the day one. I don't remember the card layout exactly. Cena and Cody. At least the way it's framed here, it's the same night of SummerSlam.
It is. It was night 2. Yeah.
Okay. And the challenges of coming up with original ideas for that. And if you've watched the match, they were pitching ideas to Michael Hayes, and he's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't, because they can't rehearse anything.
Yeah.
And so they came upon the idea of using the zip ties. And if you watch the match, that didn't go as planned because the zip tie came off of Lyra's wrist when it wasn't supposed to. And she was like, maybe the camera didn't catch it. I'll just put it back. Slipped my hand back through it, which the camera caught it. And then when it was supposed to come off, it wouldn't come off. So she had to go into the ring so someone could cut the zip tie off.
Yeah. 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 That was hard to watch because you see them in Gorilla just cringing like, what the hell is happening?
And then they went 10 minutes long.
They went 10 minutes over.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so everybody backstage is freaking out about making up that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's this extended little interview bit where Lyra's talking about it and how disappointing it was and how she always wants to deliver and make sure that, her and her opponent feel like they had the best match on the card.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, no one has a perfect streak. These things are going to happen. So what you got to do is just, go to sleep, wake up the next day and move on.
Yeah.
And that's got to be incredibly tough when you have a match which you feel personally as a disaster, even though Michael Hayes afterwards is like, it was good. Mm-hmm. Cena went up to Lyra and was like, no, that spot was crazy. I never would have done that.
Yeah, dude. That was a cool moment right there because Lyra, and then a little bit after they have an interview with Lyra, she's crying, talking about it. And they cut to that Cena bit and it's like, oh, that's got to feel good. But you're right. I mean, I couldn't imagine like when you or I have some sort of fuck up here on the podcast. It sucks. Yeah. It sucks. I hate it. I'm like, I don't like that.
No.
I couldn't imagine how much that is amplified and magnified. Number one, 20 years younger than we are, in front of that many people, with that, she talked extensively about what it was like to be just back in 2018, which, dude, to you and I seems like fucking yesterday. It's when we were in the office. That seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
And that's when she was in wrestling school meeting Becky for the first time.
Yeah.
And now she's here. I could not imagine what that would do for the mental health. And that's literally what Becky says. She says, Lyra comes back. She's upset. She's apologizing to me profusely. I'm like, don't apologize. She's like, this happens. This happens to the best of us. And she says, you got to move on. She's like, and that's a really good, she's like, no. She said, Lyra said, no, I need you to yell at me because I fucked up. And she said, that kind of attitude is going to be really good for your progress in your career, but it's really bad for your mental health.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine waking up the next day, what that would be like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting stuff.
It was. Episode 5 concludes with Brock's return at SummerSlam after Cena loses to Cody. And Michael Hayes is really talking up Brock.
Yeah.
He's like, he hasn't wrestled for 2 years. No mention why.
No, of course not.
And then we get the tease that we're getting more episodes this upcoming summer.
This coming summer. So
season 3, I imagine probably...
What are they going to... WrestlePalooza?
Maybe the build a... No, because WrestlePalooza is going to be in July because Money in the Bank's in September.
No. I'm saying that's what the next batch episodes.
Oh
are
yeah,
cover.
yeah. I thought you meant in the build up to. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got. I'm trying to think what the next batch of episodes is going to cover.
Oh, it'll cover Seth's like real injury.
We'll get Cena's last match.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Seth's injury.
Seth's real injury. Yeah. Naomi's being
pregnancy. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
One thing I liked is a small detail. The first time we see Jimmy and Naomi in their house, it must be right when they bought it or something, because later on in the season, the kitchen is completely different. They got the whole like inside of the house redone.
I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Yeah, it's like very log cabiny when you first see it. Their house.
It is? Okay, that's
and
funny.
then later on, like the kitchen's all redone and it's very clean, clean lines and modern looking and stuff like that.
Oh, that's funny. They remodeled it.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyways, let us know what you guys thought about Unreal Season 2 in the comments below. What do you want to see them cover in Season 3 coming up this summer? We'll be back tomorrow with our Hot Takes episode. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.